Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lunch table. My name is Evan. Today I'm joined with Zach and Nick. And today we're going to be talking about the Stefon Diggs trade. Big blockbuster trade. Stefon Diggs got traded to the Texans for a second round pick.
Couple other stuff too, but mainly that's
Mainly
Yeah.
the second round
And
pick.
then, mainly that. We're going to discuss it, give our quick thoughts. Nick, I'll shoot it your way since Stefon Diggs is now in your division.
yeah.
What were your thoughts on the trade?
First of all, bit of a weird setup. Like I'm not in person,
Yeah,
and Weaver's with you, so that's kind of weird. Weaver's visiting his university this week, but we decided to do this because it's probably the biggest trade of the off season thus
I
far.
would probably
It
say
might
it has
just
been.
be throughout the off season. If you watched our AFC grades, which we posted a couple days prior, I said that the Texans had replaced the Bengals in terms of that upper tier immediate contender in the AFC. That was before they got Stefon Diggs. So at that point, it might have been a little premature. I don't think it's premature now. I don't think it's premature at all. I think the Texans are absolutely a top 3 team in the AFC. They are absolutely a contender in the AFC. Stefon Diggs, although having a little bit of a decline and a bit of issues with playoff performance, immediately slots into a group with Tank Dell and Nico Collins and becomes the best receiver with already an elite quarterback on a rookie deal. Like, you talk about a team going all in to capitalize now, that's what the Texans are doing. And other teams have got, like the Jaguars, for example, they got Trevor Lawrence. He didn't come out of the gate as impressive as CJ Stroud, but he still played well. And now this is going to be year 4 of the Trevor Lawrence experience, and the Jaguars are still, like, at average to slightly above average. The Texans are not going to be that. It pains me to say because before this point, I thought that the Jags and the Colts had a chance to maybe take the AFC South. Now I think the Texans are the clear favorite in that division. So I think this trade propels the Texans to another level of competitiveness and another tier of team. They're going to be really scary, their offense, especially this next year. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I would agree with all that. You can go.
Yeah. Like you said, Nick, they were on the brink of being contenders even before they brought in Diggs. I mean, this offseason was a huge offseason for them. They went all in. They brought in Joe Mixon. They brought in Daniil Hunter. Those are 2 of their main ones. And then you still have guys like Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stroud, Dalton Schultz. Now you add Stefon Diggs to that mix. That weapon room is up there with some of the best in the NFL. And I think it's going to be scary for the AFC. I mean, I think obviously CJ Stroud was one of the best quarterbacks this past season, and I think with the weapons he has, I don't see him being any worse. I think he can only be better. And so I think the Texans, like you said, Nick, they're going all in for this year, and I think they're going to give a lot of teams a run for their money. And I think this trade helps them a lot. I mean, now you have your you have your deep threat in Tank Dell. Then you have Nico Collins, who's a bigger guy who can kind of do a little bit of everything. And then Stefon Diggs is your veteran, kind of do-it-all guy as well. So, and then you got Mixon in the backfield still with Dalton Schultz. It's a pretty potent offense in Bobby Slovik's system. So they should be pretty lethal on offense for sure. But yeah, they're gonna be fun to watch. I'm excited to watch them play.
Yeah, I would say that I would put them in the upper tier of AFC teams as well. I think you've got Chiefs, Bengals, Texans. I think this knocks the Bills out, though. Yeah. I don't even know if the Bills are going to make the playoffs now, to be honest with you.
They, with how good the AFC is, they can't be.
There's a really good chance they miss playoffs because
they're probably the 3rd best team in their own division, if we're being honest right now.
If Aaron Rodgers plays, then yes. I think that there is a very, very real possibility the Bills won't even make playoffs this year. because you've got 3 or 4 teams out of the North. You've got 2 or 3 teams out of the South, and then you've got the Dolphins out of the East, and then the West has got the Chiefs. So, I mean,
They got the Jets.
That's being conservative, too. You didn't even talk about the Jets. The Chargers could come out of nowhere with Jim Harbaugh. Like the Bill, I wouldn't say, like, the
it's
Bills.
Josh Allen and a bunch of scrubs, pretty much.
Yeah, it's
Their
Josh
receiving room
Allen.
is
They've got
bad.
James Cook and Dalton Kincaid, and that's pretty much it.
Their receiving room is horrible now.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Shakir's their wide receiver 1.
Or Curtis Samuel, or, like, the fact that we even have to debate it is a problem.
Yeah, their receiving room is freaking terrible now. The Texans, on the other hand, have limitless weapons now, and they are considered probably a contender with the Chiefs, Bengals, and Texans, honestly. I mean, Ravens. Ravens are iffy. But the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Texans those are your contenders right there, I would say, at this current second out of the AFC.
I think you'd have to throw Baltimore in there, too.
Yeah.
I just don't know because they always choke in the playoffs.
I mean, but they just made the AFC title game and got more balanced as a team. So,
did they though?
I mean, different topic for a different day. I'd say so.
Well, it is nice to see, like you mentioned, Nick, that they are putting good players around Stroud because you got to capitalize on him when he is at his cheapest, like he is his rookie deal. And you mentioned the Jags, who kind of sat on their butts and did nothing really with Trevor, and then the Chargers kind of did the same thing. You got Justin Herbert, who he still doesn't have a playoff win, right?
No.
The Chargers tried to do something because they got Khalil Mack. They already had Joey Bosa. They tried to get some offensive line help. They got the receivers. It's just that Brandon Staley was a terrible head coach.
Yeah.
And their impact players kept getting hurt. So,
because they were old.
Yeah, it was kind of unlucky on the Chargers side of things. But yeah, the Jaguars, I don't know what they were doing. We don't even know if Trevor Lawrence is like elite, truly, as of right now. So that might have been why they didn't like go all in. But
yeah,
CJ Stroud is probably. I mean, yeah, if you're going to build around a young quarterback on their rookie deal, I think Stroud's the guy to do it.
Yeah, because we were naming players who we think quarterbacks that we think can win a Super Bowl, and Stroud was one of the few names that we mentioned.
Yeah, I think we said there are 6 guys in the NFL that we could definitely see winning a Super Bowl, and then there's like 2 or 3 that we could see like maybe.
Yeah,
in the entire NFL, which is crazy. And
guys that are like good enough to like.
5 of those 6 were in the AFC.
Who was in the NFC?
Jalen Hurts.
That's fair. Yeah, he made it like that's fair.
The AFC, we had Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Stroud, and Herbert, and then Jalen Hurts was 6. Those were the 6 names that you could see winning a Super Bowl. And then there was like Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence. I can't remember who else was in the maybe category. Lamar was in the maybe category.
I was about to say, you cannot not bring up Lamar at all.
He was in the maybe category.
Yeah, I get his playoff performance is bad, but he's a 2-time MVP. Like,
yeah, they were in like if the right
regular season,
if the right stuff's around them, they can make it. Yeah, it's crazy that Stroud already is a top 10 quarterback going into his second year, and his team's just getting better. So,
I just can't believe that they're going to be rolling a team of C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Stefon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, and then Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter on the defensive side. And they also have who else do they got back there? They still got Jalen Petrie and who's that corner they got?
Derek Stingley.
No, it's not Singletary.
Stingley, sorry.
Stingley, yeah. Okay. That's going to be – this is just an egregiously good football team.
With a fantastic young head coach and D'Amico Ryans, too.
Yeah. And they have Larry Tunsil at tackle.
And pretty solid offensive line.
This is a really good team. I think from top to bottom, this is one of the best teams in the AFC on paper from top to bottom. I would probably put them on paper better than the Bengals.
Yeah, they'd have to be right now.
But yeah, this is a good team. I'm pretty excited to watch them play, and they're bringing out new uniforms this year, which is always exciting. I think the Texans are going on a very exciting route here. They got some. I mean, they've really made some moves this offseason, which is wild because 2 years ago they were the butt of the NFL.
Yeah. As a Colts fan, Nick, was it rough seeing this trade?
Yeah, I woke up on, what was it? Today's Thursday, so what was it, Tuesday?
Yesterday.
It was Monday or Tuesday?
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I woke up yesterday and my day was immediately ruined because it's like we're guarding Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stefon Diggs with Juju Brents and Kenny Moore and whichever corner we draft at 15. If we draft a corner.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does this affect the draft now? Do they like? Does this make them like, okay, we have to draft a corner? It's 100%.
I honestly think it means that the Colts should try to go for a big swing and get like a Brock Bowers or something. Because
you're still weak at that position, though.
Yes, I understand that, but you cannot, like, Kenny Moore is good. Juju Brents had a very promising rookie year. Yeah. Other than, and we just re-signed Julian Blackman. He's a decent safety. It's like our secondary on paper is okay, but, like, it was statistically terrible last year, so we could go that route. But you've got to get your quarterback an elite playmaker in the AFC. Period. Okay, I love Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman is not an elite playmaker. No. He is a very solid core receiver to build around.
Yeah. But you get Brock Bowers as generational tight end.
Yes.
Your young quarterback tremendous.
I don't think they will do that. I think they will stick to their guns and draft a corner at 15, whether it be like a Terrion Arnold or Nate Wiggins.
That's a big.
That's fine too. I'd be okay with that too, but I don't think you can sit here and build to be good. I don't see a point in that. I think you got to take swings to contend to win a Super Bowl. And now,
I mean, but I don't think you should take like stupid swings. Like,
no,
like Brock Bowers.
We don't have a tight end, so Brock Bowers is not a stupid swing.
Yeah, maybe.
Like who's our tight end? Like
Mo Alley Cox.
Yeah, Mo Alley Cox right now.
Woods.
Yeah, like we don't have
with a good tight end. Like you can roll with that.
It's probably about as good
with Michael Pittman and who's the other receiver they got?
Alec Pierce, Josh
Downs, and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. I mean, I think
good offensive line too.
I think you can swing rolling a streaming tight end option. The Bengals have streamed tight ends the last 3 years now.
Well, the Bengals also have had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd.
Yeah,
but
I
like our receivers. They're not Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, but I think that as long as Anthony Richardson is like a solid quarterback, you can swing with Mo Alley Cox. I mean,
saying if Brock Bowers is there, I'm taking him.
Yeah.
I want him. Yeah.
But yeah, as a Colts fan, I don't want to play this Texans team twice a year.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
This is going to be a scary team. They're a terrifying team. Do we think CJ Stroud is like in that MVP conversation for next year? Like, do we think he can win it? Because I think he can.
Yeah,
he's got all the pieces to.
I mean, he was in that conversation this year.
Yeah, he was.
Slight, like on like the back half, but like, I mean, I think he definitely could. I mean, last year he threw 4,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks. Like I think he'll replicate that. But I can see him throwing more touchdowns.
He could pull an MVP out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He'll be in the conversation.
Yeah, sure. He will. I want to go back to the Bills side of things real quick because I said, I don't mean to like big myself up, but I did say immediately after the Bills lost to the Chiefs that their window for the next 3 to 4 years is shut, and this all but confirms it. Like, the Bills are going to be retooling for the next minimum 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, they still might make the playoffs because Josh Allen is good enough to carry a team like this to the postseason. But they're not going to be anywhere near that true Super Bowl conversation for the next probably 2-3 years minimum.
Yeah, they're going to be hurting pretty bad this year. I mean, they literally have nothing. Literally no one.
Yeah. We still got the draft and stuff to go, so things can change. But as of right now, I think the Bills are very clearly the third best team in that division.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to even say.
I would say that if Aaron Rodgers plays, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, then the Bills are probably. I mean, they can be better. They can beat the Jets.
Well, that's a stance right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said right after that loss, Nick, that this is a game that blows up teams, and I mean, it came to fruition. I mean, they had to cut majority of their high impact defensive players for cap reasons, and then they just traded their best receiver. You lose Gabe Davis, so now you're rolling with Josh Allen, who is a top 5 quarterback, and his weapons are James Cook, Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Matt Collins, and Dalton Kincaid. That's in a stacked AFC that's not going to get it done for you.
Especially with a subpar defense now.
Yeah, now subpar defense.
This team is not going to be very good.
I think one thing to note is the impact that Stefon Diggs had on Josh Allen.
Yeah, that too.
Granted, it was like when Josh was young, but before Diggs came, Josh Allen in his career had 5,000 yards, 300 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. 30 touchdowns. 21 interceptions, and 78.2 QBR. And then with Diggs, he threw for 17,500 yards, 137 touchdowns, 57 interceptions, with a 97 QBR. So there's a drastic change there, and that was one of the big conversations. Like, oh, finally Josh Allen has weapons, and he showed that. Obviously, that made a huge difference, and now with them really not having that much weapons, I'm interested to see if Josh's play goes down or if he struggles. I'm interested to see.
That's a concern. Dynamic. That is a concern too, because we're still saying, oh, they can probably still make, like, they maybe not this year, but they could still sneak a playoff in sometime in the near future just because they have Josh Allen. But I do think that's a good point. We forget that Josh Allen did not become the Josh Allen that we know today until really a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, granted, he is a lot more experienced.
Yeah.
A lot older now.
He'll be a lot better than he was like 2019.
But it's gonna hurt him though. I mean, because it's like, I mean, you're taking away his best weapon. Like, he won't perform at the same level.
Yeah, I would be shocked if you saw the same production out of him through the air this year as you've seen the past couple of years, for sure.
Yeah. Well, like, I think it's going to be tough for the Bills to make the playoffs for a little bit because, I mean, I don't know exactly what their cap situation is looking like, but I know it's not great. And then, like, the AFC is only getting better. It's so, I mean,
the AFC just keeps adding Super Bowl contending teams.
So for you to really kind of lose the offseason, like, I forget what we graded their offseason, but it wasn't very high. And so for them to kind of lose the offseason, that puts them in a hole. So I think now their focus goes into the draft, and they have to get a wide receiver at 28, or
they can get a guy like
struggling.
What's the guy from Florida State?
Keon Coleman.
Yeah, Keon Coleman. 80.
Yeah.
Troy Franklin, something like that.
But it's still it's gonna be tough for them though. Like you said, they definitely lost the offseason, and like I said, the AFC just keeps adding Super Bowl contending teams, so it's gonna be tough for them.
And one thing to note is they're paying Stefon Diggs $30 million in dead cash, so they're just eating a lot of his money.
I think something came out. Like, the Bills are going to still pay. The Bills are still going to pay like $30 million to Stefon Diggs, but I think the Texans restructured the contract to the point where Stefon Diggs can be a free agent after this year. So they're giving him incentive to play the best ball he's played of his career so he can get a big payday next offseason, which I think is actually really smart.
I agree. And plus, he's coming off one of his worst seasons recently, and he's he's getting in his
He's like 30 now.
yeah, he's getting in his 30s, so you don't want to be paying like a ton of money to a guy that isn't what he used to be. So I think that's smart to kind of give him a 1 year deal, go all in this year, and if it doesn't work, then you can either re-sign him for cheaper if he's not as good, or you just move on and say, hey, that experiment didn't work, because you still have Tank Dell and Nico Collins, so you'd still be fine at that wide receiver position. So,
Yeah.
I think this draft is the dynamic of the. It's like you had the Texans who were like on the brink of being a contender, and then you had the Bills who were a contender, and now
And they
they're
just
like this.
well, the Texans are a contender, and the Bills aren't even on the brink anymore.
Yeah, so that helps.
This was a very interesting trade.
But I'm
when
also
I saw that, I was like, what?
I also find it interesting that they only were able to get a second round pick out of that.
No, I don't think that's that
I'm not gonna
crazy.
give
He's
a first.
30. He just came off a
But
decline.
they had to give a second round pick and 2 other picks to give.
It was like a fourth and a
Sixth rounder or something.
Still, I mean, Stefon Diggs and 2 picks for a second round. People were talking if that hurts like the wide receiver market, because you have guys like T Higgins who requested a trade and stuff like that. Like, is he going to be worth less now or more?
yeah. If that's what the Texans got for Stefon Diggs, then a T Higgins deal might not be that great.
Well, the difference is T Higgins is 24 and Stefon Diggs is 30.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think it like says something major about the wide receiver market. Wide receiver is still like a premier position for contending teams, and Stefon Diggs is 6 years older than T Higgins is. T Higgins is just now entering his like prime big money contract. So
Yeah.
That's true.
But it is interesting to think about. The Texans got a pretty good deal for him in that sense. But I'm excited to watch this Texans team, though.
Yeah, should be fun.
I just think it is amazing how they've been able to go from being by far and away the worst team in the NFL to a Super Bowl contender with literally
like
in
3 years.
2 years. Like, it's just unreal that is how they were able to work this.
The football gods blessed them on that day in Indianapolis where the pick went this close. Who knows what would have happened if our corner caught that Hail Mary in week 18 of 2022? Like, who knows where this Texans? Who knows where the NFL would be at?
Yeah.
This is a who would have known that single play had ripples effect of this magnitude. The Texans are now a Super Bowl team.
Yeah. Well, for as much as we hate on the Texans, I mean, they built a playoff team around Deshaun Watson, lost him, and then 2 or 3 years later built another playoff team with Stroud.
A far better team than what they have with Watson.
So you got to give them credit.
Their front office is. I do not believe their front office is that bad. I mean, I think the Texans really are a pretty good franchise.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to watch them, though, for sure. The Bills, they just got a lot worse. But the Texans just got a lot better. So, well, a lot more rounded out, I think. Because, I mean, we don't know for sure how this is going to hit because of Stefon Diggs coming off of his worst season yet, probably. So, like, we really don't know for sure. But if it goes how everyone thinks it will, then the Texans are going to be a pretty scary team.
Yeah. All right, Nick, you got anything else?
Nah, I think we covered all of it.
This blockbuster deal.
Yeah, it was a big trade. Yeah, definitely the biggest trade of the offseason.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'll wrap it up for this quick little episode.
Emergency episode, because
we got the NFC great free agency grades that will be coming out tomorrow, and then hopefully mock draft 2.0 will be next week. So stay tuned for that.
And I'll be on that one.
Oh yeah. And yeah, we'll see you guys next one. Peace.